Welcome to this yoga video. This morning I actually filmed a yoga video in my backyard. Yeah, it's the first, I think, new yoga video this year, this summer. And so today we're gonna dive into a full body strength and flexibility, flow. We're gonna flow hard. We're gonna work our entire body and feel great afterwards. I did it in the morning. I recommend it in the morning, but you can do it, of course, any time of the day. It's a full rounded, really good practice. We're gonna open up the hips a little bit. We're gonna open up our heart. We're gonna strengthen our back and our legs and also our arms. And we're gonna really flow and get the energy moving. So see you on the mat. We start standing. So we start by taking a few deep breaths, just where you are. And let's come to the top of our mat. Really ground your feet into the floor. Stand up nice and tall. Feel the ground underneath you. And then raise up your arms. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to your side. Again, inhale. Deep breath in. Arms up. Reach up. Exhale. Hands to your side. Again, inhale. Lift up your arms and then stretch over to the right side. Really try to keep your arms as straight as possible and the other one too. And then let's switch sides, bend over to the left. Come to the middle, reach up one more time and then maybe add just a light little back bend. And exhale, hands to your side. Now interlace the fingers behind your back. Lift up your chest. Inhale. Really open up your chest. You don't have to throw your head back into your neck. And then let go. Inhale. Lift up your arms again. Bend over to the right. Lift to the middle and bend over to the left. Middle again and exhale, hands behind your back, interlaced. Maybe the other finger is now on top, the other thumb. And then bend your knees and forward fold here. Really bend your knees at the beginning and just don't push yourself. Just let gravity do the work. Relax. Draw on your belly. And then lift up your chest, hands to your side. Again, inhale, lift up your arms, stretch to the right. Come to the middle and over to the other side. Really straightening out your legs and your arms. Come to the middle, lift up your chest. Exhale, hands to your side, interlace them behind your back, lift up your chest, open up your heart, bend your knees, and forward fold. Loosen up your neck, say yes, no. You can even sway from side to side if that feels good to you. And then lift up. Lift up your arms and exhale, hands to your side, forward fold. Inhale, preparation pose. Exhale, forward fold. Now grab the opposite elbows and just hang here. Draw on your belly. Breathe. And inhale, lift up your arms all the way up, stretch up. Exhale, hands to your side. Again, inhale, lift up your arms, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, preparation pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale again, preparation pose. Exhale, one more time, forward fold. Inhale, preparation pose, straight back. Exhale, step back into a plank. Shift your weight a little bit forward and back into your arms and back. Stay in plank, warming up your core. Loosen up the neck muscles though. Really draw on your belly button. And now knees, chest, chin onto the floor or forehead if chin is not comfortable. Stay here for a second and then come into a cobra pose. Using your back muscles, not only your arms, to lift your heart up. All 10 toes stay on the floor, straight back. And now if you want to, lift up into an upward facing dog. Look over your right shoulder, your left shoulder. And you can always come back into cobra pose if that's too much. And then slowly drop yourself down with the arm strength and come again into the cobra pose. Strengthening and warming up your back muscles. And again, come up into an upward facing dog if your body feels ready. And slowly place your body down with the arm strength. One more time, cobra pose. Lots of length in your legs. Lift up your arms so you make sure that you're not using your arms too much. Now again, upward facing dog. And then coming back into a child's pose. Come into the fingertips. Really lengthening your back, drawing in your belly. Breathe. And then push into your first downward facing dog. Walk your dog here. Stretch out your calf muscles, loosen up the hamstrings. But make sure you really draw in your belly button. Lots of room. Do what feels good to you. Make sure your arms, your fingers are spread. Maybe bend both of your knees and then straighten out your legs a little bit more. But it's more important to keep the back long, in a long line, than your knees. Come forward into a plank position again. Shift your weight a little bit back and forth. Hold it here. Maybe swaying a little bit more back and forth. And then knees, chest, chin or forehead. And come into cobra pose. Stay here, breathe. Maybe advance into the upward facing dog. If not, stay in the cobra. And then come back into the child's pose. Come into the fingertips. And then into a downward facing dog. Bend your knees, then straightening them. Long line in your back. Rather bend your knees than to have your back rounded. Really push yourself backward. And then come back into the plank. Shift your weight a little bit forward and back. Back into the downward facing dog. Lift up your right leg, straight leg. And then draw that knee into your right tricep. And again, three-legged dog. Draw your knee into your right tricep. And then come into a three-legged dog. Again, move forward, draw your knee towards the right tricep. And then step forward with the right leg. Come into a high lunge, arms first by your side, really opening up, pressing your heel back, feeling your hip flexors. And then if you're ready, lift up your arms as well, or keep them by your side. Look up if you can, and make sure your arms are really straight if they're on top. And then slowly come down, placing your hands on the floor, and come back into the three-legged dog, right leg into the air. Again, right knee towards the tricep and three-legged dog. Right knee to the right tricep and three-legged dog. Press it into your right tricep and back again. Breathe. Now open up your hip and make big circles in one direction. Your knees leading here to make big hip circles. Now the other way. Breathe. And straighten out the right leg. Again, open up the hip. And then come into a wild thing if that feels good to you. You can always rest and also in a child's pose. Otherwise, come into a wild thing. And I like to open up my chest further by rolling my arm around, really opening up and moving it forward. Opening up my heart. Stay here. Stay in the wild thing. Really lift up your hips. And then placing your hand down. Again, three-legged dog. The right leg is still the extended one. And now place it down on the floor. Lift up your left leg, left knee towards the left tricep, and three-legged dog. Left knee towards the left tricep, and three-legged dog. Really use your core muscles here. Again. And use your breath, hold it, and then step forward with the left leg. Come into a high lunge, arms on your hips. Now, you may stay here or extend, lift up your arms, maybe straightening them out, maybe even looking up. Hold the pose, not your breath. Let the breath flow. And then placing your hands on the floor, extend the left leg back, three-legged dog. Opening up the hip. And then straightening out. And left knee towards the left tricep and three-legged dog. Left knee towards the left tricep and back. Left knee towards the left tricep. Hold it. And back. And now open up the hip again. And draw big circles in one direction, really helping your hip mobility here. And then move into the other direction. Breathe. Extend the left leg back. Opening up the hip one more time. Stay here or come into a child's pose or come into a wild thing, really opening up. And I like to circle my arm around, helping my shoulder mobility and really opening up my shoulder and my upper back. Hold the wild thing. Breathe. And then place your hand on the floor. Three-legged dog, left leg lifted into the air. Opening up the hip one more time and then placing both legs down, plank, and come through chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Maybe you want to do a double chaturanga and some push-ups before you place yourself down into a Sphinx pose. Opening up your heart. Imagine yourself, you draw yourself forward. Legs are very straight, very extended. Both 10 toes touch the floor. Breathe. Now push yourself into the cobra pose. And interlace your fingers behind your back. Maybe lift your legs, Shavasana. Lift everything up. Use your back muscles. Stay lifted and then place your hands. Come into a cobra or an upward facing dog. And then through the child's pose with extended arms, and then into a downward facing dog. Right leg extends, three-legged dog. And move it forward towards the right tricep, and then place it forward, high lunge. Lift up your arms if that's comfortable, and flow. Hands on the floor, right leg up into the air, opening up the hip, and straight away into the wild thing, opening up the hip, the chest. And then three-legged dog, right leg extended. Move forward through chaturanga with the right leg lifted, upward facing dog or cobra, into a downward facing dog. Straight away the left leg, come forward with it, knee towards the tricep, and then come into a high lunge. Extend your arms up if that's comfortable, and move through three-legged dog, left leg extended, opening up your hip, and then come into a wild thing. Lift up your chest, placing your hand back down, three-legged dog, left leg extended. Come through a chaturanga with the left leg lifted, into a cobra or upward facing dog, back into the child's pose with extended arms, and into a downward facing dog. Breathe. Calm your breath, and then lift up your right leg again. Move it forward towards the right tricep and step through high lunge. Extend your arms up, lift everything up, and then come into a warrior two. Check your arms that they're in one line, and move a little bit deeper. Hold the pose. Now the right palm is facing up. Extend forward the upper back, so you really have to engage your core. And now come into a peaceful warrior. Nice side body bend. Move forward into a side angle. Right arm onto the knee. Left arm right by your ear, one straight line. And then come back into the peaceful warrior. We're going to move through this here. So peaceful warrior, come into the warrior two pose. Then come into the high lunge with a lifted heel. Stay here or lift up your arms all the way up. Hold the pose, hands towards your heart, and then placing almost your knee onto the mat and lift up. Knee touches almost the floor and lift back up, really strengthening your legs here. Come down and lift. One more time, down and stay down. Come into the low lunge, maybe extend the arms up, maybe add a little back bend. Stay strong in your core here, and slowly, having your hands in front of your heart, lift again into a high lunge, and then placing your arms onto the floor, move through a plank, your way down, chaturanga, maybe double chaturanga with a push-up, cobra or upward facing dog into a downward facing dog. Breathe. Now lift up your left leg. Three-legged dog. Knee towards the left tricep. Hold it. And then placing it down. High lunge. Heel is up. Maybe lift up your arms straight into the air. Long line. Arms straight. And then come into the warrior two pose. Check your alignment. Your arms are on a straight line, or as straight as possible. Left palm faces up. Move forward with your upper body. Hold the pose, really using your core muscles, and then come into a peaceful warrior. Opening up your side body. stay strong on your legs. And then come into a side angle pose. The right arm right by your ear. Fingers straight, really a straight long line. Come back into the peaceful warrior. And then into warrior 2. Come into a high lunge. Maybe lift up your arms. Lots of balance here, lots of strength. And then have your arms in front of your chest and move the right knee down almost towards the mat and lift. Down and lift. Slowly down, almost putting it down and then lift. Again, down. Leave it down and come into the low lunge. Maybe lift up your arms, maybe add a little back bend. Breathe. And then hands in front of your chest. Lift up, high lunge, lots of strength in the legs. And then move forward, placing your hands down. Move through chaturanga, maybe double push-up. Hold the plank. Don't lay it down all the way. Hold it. And then come into a cobra pose. Interlacing your fingers behind and Shavasana. Lift your body nice and up. Long line with your legs. And now come into the bow pose or stay in Shavasana. Whatever you do, breathe and opening up your chest, lots of strength. Breathe. Stay a little longer before you place yourself down. And push yourself in one long line up into the plank and place yourself very slowly down onto the floor. We're going to do this one more time. Bow pose or Shavasana. Hold and breathe. Lift up your legs a little bit longer and then placing yourself down, hands by your side. And then again, one long line. Push yourself up. And very slowly placing yourself back down. Upward facing dog or stay with a cobra. Breathe and then place yourself very slowly using your arm strength down onto the floor. Now angle your left arm in and try to grab your right leg or toe. And opening up your back here, also your quad, getting a nice stretch and at the same time also a shoulder opener. Switch sides and breathe. Now here I cannot turn my palm forward as much as I want to. I always get a cramp. So I don't. It's okay if you don't. Breathe. Come out of the pose and placing your hands underneath your shoulder and press yourself back into a deserved child's pose. Come onto the fingertips, arms are extended, long line. And then maybe move to one side here, placing my right hand on top of the left, little side body stretch. And then onto the right side, left palm comes on top of the other. Breathe. Relax. Come into the middle again, come into the fingertips. Look forward. And then come into a downward facing dog. Breathe and then lift up your right leg up towards the sky again, three-legged dog, and then draw your knee towards the right tricep. Place it down, high lunge. Again, if you're ready, lift up your arms, straight arms, and hands in front of your heart, and come into Warrior 3, balancing pose. Look forward. You can always place your hands also onto the mat and hold yourself a little bit better in the balance. Otherwise, bend your right knee and step back, high lunge, as controlled as possible. From here, come into side twist over to the right leg, and then come into the side body bend. So the right arm is on top of the left thigh, and stretch to the side. And then come into triangle pose, opening up your side and then lift up your arms. You can also use a block. You can place your hands onto the heel, maybe even lift up your right leg off of the leg to make it sure you're really engaging your core here. And then place your hands down on the floor. Step back, plank, move through chaturanga, maybe double one with a push-up in between. Upward facing dog into a downward facing dog. Breathe. Let's do the other side. Left leg lifts, left leg towards left tricep. Hold it. And then placing it down, high lunge, maybe extends your arms up. Hands in front of your heart and come into a Warrior 3. You can come also to place the hands onto the mat or just the index finger. Hold the pose. Then bend the left knee. And as controlled as you can, come back into the high lunge, lifted heel. Extend your arms up. Hands in front of your heart and twist to the left. Left arm on the right leg and come into a side body stretch. This always feels tight to me, but it's really good pose. Then come into a triangle pose, really opening up your chest. Make sure it's one line. Imagine you lean back against the wall. Stay here or lift your bottom arm up, really to engage your core. Placing it back down. And then place your hands down on the floor. Move through chaturanga, maybe again a double one, really using your arm strength here. Cobra or upward facing dog. Come through a child's pose, fingertips on the floor, before into the downward facing dog. Lift up the right leg right away and move forward into pigeon pose. First, tight pigeon. Opening up your chest upwards. Really using your back muscles here. And then maybe lifting your arms up. This is really lots of back strength for your arms to lift yourself up. And then if you want to, you can open up your hip further while angling the leg parallel to the mat. And that gives you a little bit more of a hip opener. Stay on your forearms. You can also place something underneath your hip if it's really off the ground, like a pillow. And then maybe you place your forehead down all the way to the floor. And relax. Breathe and let go. Let all tensions flow from your body. Then move the right leg towards your body further. Lift up your chest and come with the left leg across your body into a seated twist. You can have your right arm onto the floor or place it around you. Really straightening up your back on every inhale, twisting more, letting go on every exhale. Come through downward facing dog into a plank, through chaturanga, maybe double chaturanga with a push-up, upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Left leg extends back right away. Come into the pigeon pose. First, the heel is close to your body. Lift your chest up. Breathe. And then maybe extend your arms all the way up, which is lots of strength in your back muscles. Hold it. And then place your hands down. Lift up your chest one more time. And then maybe opening up your hip further. Place something underneath your hips if they're really lifted off the ground. Come onto your forearms. Make sure your leg is really straight in the back and not funky angled. And then you can also relax all the way down. Release any tension. Breathe. Stay a little bit longer. And then come up with your arms, angling the foot a little bit more towards your body. And then the right leg comes across into, that you can come into a seated twist. Back is straight. On every exhale, you relax into the pose. Don't put too much tension and strength here. Relax also. Stay. And then come out of the pose, place your hands on the floor, move through chaturanga, maybe double chaturanga again if you really feel strong, cobra or upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Breathe. Come on to the toes and jump or step forward into a seated position. And then very slowly roll your body down. Hold it, so you're really using your abs here. Very slowly come all the way laying down onto your back. Apanasana. Press your knees into your chest. Release and relax, and then stay there or come into the plow pose. Stay in Apanasana or plow pose. I really like this pose because it helps me to relax my back. When my back feels kind of tight, this pose is, for me, it's perfect. Straightening out your legs as much as possible. You can have your toes on the floor or have them all the way in a straight line. I'm holding here my back because I want to relax and release a little bit more. Breathing very deeply. Find the point between strength and relaxation. Maybe straightening out your legs a little bit more. Breathe, and then maybe come into Shavasana. If that's not good for you, put your legs up against the wall and just lift the legs. You can keep your butt all the way down. Just extend them up. You can also have them just dangle in the air. Just let the blood flow reverse. Breathe. Relax your neck. And then slowly, using your core muscles, placing your legs down if you've been up in the shoulder stand. Now we're going to come into the fish pose with the extended legs. Lift up your chest. Really use your core here to hold the pose and not to go too deep into the back bend. Breathing very, very deeply. If it's too much, you can always come into child's pose. Or into Uttanasana, knees into your chest. Otherwise, stay here, breathing very, very deeply. Come out of the pose. And draw your knees into your chest, Uttanasana. I make big circles because that feels good for me to open up the hip a little bit more and into the other direction if you're doing the same with me. Placing your feet on the floor and windshield wipe from side to side. Just loosening up your muscles of the back, just very casually. And then let's come into a laying twist. You can have your feet parallel 90 degree, or like I have, the right leg is extended, the left one is on top of the right. You don't have to look to the side, which is not good for my neck. But you can. And let's switch sides. Right leg over the left or in a 90 degree angle. Both knees stacked. Relax. Come out of the pose. And extend your arms long onto the floor. Get ready for Shavasana. Now I like to squeeze my face, my upper body, extend my tongue out and look up, roll my neck from side to side. You do what feels good for you to prepare for your Shavasana. And once you've found a comfortable place, release and relax. And pray with me a prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. Be praised, my Lord, for all your creatures, and first for brother sun, who makes the day bright and luminous. He's beautiful and radiant with great splendor. He's the image of you. Most High, be praised, my Lord, for sister moon and the stars. You place them in the sky so bright and twinkling. And then stretch yourself out. Make your long line with your arms, with your legs. Draw on your knees into your chest. Maybe stay here or wiggle from side to side, whatever feels good for you. Take your time. And then roll yourself up or towards the side. Come into a seated position, one leg in front of the other. And let's upper body rolls like always in all my videos. Just the upper body. Isolate the movement. Make the movement big. And then include the hips. So make it really big. Round circles straight back to the front, rounding your back to the back. One more time. Big circle, loosening up your body, sitting up straight, and then side body stretch to the right. Look down with your neck, and then placing your left arm all the way to the floor, really intensifying that stretch, and switch legs. First, roll the upper body, now the other way. Small circles, loosening up your back here. And then make the circles really, really big. Sometimes my hip cracks a little bit. Any kind of tension is being relieved. And now your right arm, comes into a side body stretch. Both glutes stay on the floor. Now maybe look down and place your right fingertips onto the floor for a nice side body stretch. Great. Let's inhale one more time. Deep inhale. Lift up your chest, your arms. Exhale, hands to the side. Again, deep, deep inhale. Deep exhale. Last time. Inhale, big and deep and full. Exhale, hands to your side. Now I thank you so much for practicing with me. God bless you. I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day. Hope the sun is shining for you and onto you, bringing light in your life. God bless you. Please subscribe, like this video, and come back for another yoga video, hopefully coming soon.